This is a picture I took from inside the van that we had as we crossed the border. That gate hadn't been opened in 50 years. But because the communist leader was so upset that I had gone to Kosovo before I went to Albania because of the arrogance thinking that Albania was kind of preeminent to the Albanians in Kosovo, because that's the way they were treated, for many years by Tito. Don't forget, Kosovo, 2 million Albanians, they were not second-class citizens, third and fourth in Yugoslavia. Now, thank God, Kosovo is an independent state, and my wife and I had a lot to do with that, with the support of the League. But when I had announced that I was going into Pristina to face off this New Age Hitler, Slobodan Milosevic, and I brought Tom Lantos because I had brought pictures back from 6 months before when I went there, and he said, I can't believe this. I got to see it for myself. This looks like the Warsaw Ghetto. And sure enough, when he went there, Milosevic was not too smart. There were 20,000 people in front of that hotel, the Grand Hotel, and soldiers just mercilessly beat them up, used rubber bullets right in front of Tom Lantos. It couldn't be better for me to make my case, but that's how the suffering went in Kosovo. Well, we went after we made the case in Kosovo, and what was the case? We sent a signal to Slobodan Milosevic that the United States was watching. But it was Tom Lantos who inspired me to go to Albania when he told me, he says, Joe, I'm born in Hungary. I know the Albanian people. And you don't have to teach me about Kosovo and Albania. But if there's any opportunity to go to Albania, we have to take it. Well, in effect, that trip to Kosovo created that opportunity, and that gate was opened, a very inconvenient gate, because it took 10 hours to drive over the mountains. Albania has mountains as big as any in Europe. It's going to be one of the most beautiful places to visit when you get there. But now we go into Albania, and we end up, before we get there, we leave Jakova, and they wanted Tom Lantos to have an Albanian going away. Play that for me just quickly. Now, what you're seeing is Tom Lantos at his prime. Don't forget, this man was saved from the Holocaust by Raoul Wallenberg. And here he's picking up a nice young Albanian dancing. The whole town turned out yelling USA. Watch this. An incredible thing. In fact, Mrs. Lantos was in the car, and people kept throwing in gifts in the car. We'd be filling them up, and Mrs. Lantos turns to me, I hope no one throws in a baby. That'll be in my book, that little anecdote. This is the kind of escort we got going across the border. And I had my camera, so I got out. I put the Albanian cap on, which is the cap from the farmers, the Highlanders there, to take that picture. '90, wow, almost 25 years ago. All right, and then we go into Albania to see Ramiz Alia. Okay, we're going back. Now, let me tell you why this is important. He didn't want Congressman Lantos to come. They only wanted me to come. But smarter minds than me said, Joe, if you go without a sitting congressman, they control everything. They're going to make it look like you support communism. And we know you don't. And you have no choice because they control the environment. So it was lucky that I brought him, and it turned out that they needed me to come, and therefore they let Lantos come because already the rumblings were happening that the people were fed up with communism because the Berlin Wall had come down just like the October before. So we go there, in effect, to send a signal to the successor of that psychotic guy, Enver Hoxha, who killed priests, rabbis. It became a Stalinist, atheistic communist state. Worse than, can you say worse than North Korea? I don't know, but just as bad. So here we are now, and this communist leader gets so intimidated by Lantos. Remember who he was? He was the chairman founder of the Congressional Human Rights Caucus. Imagine bringing the head of human rights in the world practically to Albania. So one of the things he did to kind of ingratiate himself is he brings a file out. We didn't know what it was, but he announces, and we had it translated, that Congressman Lantos will be very pleased by what he sees in this file. Lantos gives it to me. And now I'm looking at the file as he's speaking, and I'm noticing all different languages and dates from 1946 to 1986. Would you believe these were the Jews that were rescued by the Albanians trying to congratulate or connect with their rescuers? The communists wouldn't let the letters through, but put them in a file for 45 years. I got that file, and I realized this was important. And thank God I had a good friend in Israel, Ellie Streit. Ellie, where are you? You're here someplace. Ellie Streit, okay. Ellie made the trip from Israel, and I said to Ellie, you know, you got to take this immediately to Yad Vashem. I think this has great significance. Well, Yad Vashem could not believe that they did not have these names. Well, now we have 69 righteous among Gentiles since that time. So obviously we're on our way. But guess what? There should be 3,069, because not only were 300 Jews saved in Albania, some of whom were there from the burning of the Second Temple, their families, 70 AD, another 3,000 plus got over the border from Yugoslavia, where it was Nazi-occupied, into Albania, which was Italian-occupied. Not so bad until the Nazis then came into Albania. But nevertheless, the Albanians would not give up one Jew. They wouldn't give the lists. They were at risk of their life. And these were people who were basically not that well educated. Remember who perpetrated the Holocaust? Germans with PhDs, intellectuals, smart people. How could they ever think that that was a way to treat anybody? And yet these Albanians, suffering under the worst communism, they hid these people, and they were threatened, many of them with a gun to their head, because the Germans knew they were somewhere. In any case, here I am sitting on the wall with Ellie Streit, my first trip to Israel. In fact, this is 1985, and he's telling me about things. That's the old wall right there, the old city. Isn't that beautiful? The story will continue, because we feel this is a new horizon for us with Ron Bretna. My wife and I feel that now we have located people we didn't know. Because that article was in the New York Times, probably 80 or 90 Jewish people called, and some of them were Jews who were from Albania. And I used one or two of them to contact others, and we have today in this room 2 tables as our guests, pretty much, 2 tables of Jews from Albania. Would you stand up? The Salamoni family, the Yakovo family, Bozo family. And, yeah. Thank you.